not to be dramatic, but why are these guys unboxing so many gifts and birthday things that are video game consoles, whatever you call them? If you play video games and you're a grown-ass adult, count me out. I want nothing to do with it.
There's the door. Why don't you check it out?
Well, I feel like if you're a fully developed human and you intentionally groom your fingernails to create a setting that can only be described as a 20-year fecal bacteria high school reunion party, well, then that's not gonna work for me. I honestly don't see how you can sit there and pass judgment on dudes for playing video games when you're barely a grown-up yourself. Name me one thing about you that's mature, and no, your credit card debt, that mortgage rate you know nothing about, and the fact that you can outdrink an Irish coal miner doesn't mean that you're a grown-up. It means that you're a grown-up cosplayer, and you're not even one of the good ones. At least with gaming cosplayers, you have the chance of running into that dude who dresses like Mario and plays 8-bit Nintendo tunes on a bagpipe while riding a unicycle. That adult man has earned a legally amicable lease agreement to the intergalactic space god Rumbleplards, all hail guest house, and you're the type of cosplayer who refuses to wear deodorant. We all know the type, and sister, you are that to a T.
And that's not even me being rude, but it doesn't work for me. And also, like a guy who just sits in front of his TV and is like yelling like, yo bro, where are we gonna land? Yo bro, check your right side, check your right side. Stop. I simply can't. I had a boyfriend once, an ex, if you know him, you know him, because he was the only guy I've ever dated that just sat and played video games all the time, and it grossed me out, and he would put video games before me, and so, period, I'm scarred, can never do it again.
Well, bye.
Okay, so I think we can all agree that she wasn't scarred by this experience. It left her bitter, jaded, and extremely jealous, but not scarred. She hates the fact that she was in a relationship with a dude who had better things to do with his time than worship this paragon of pure mediocrity with every second of his life. She hates the fact that he wasn't making money to shower her with gifts, dates, and lavish trips. But most of all, I think she hates the fact that dudes who game have multiple avenues to live their lives that don't focus completely around her. Woman, you think that relationships are just one gigantic romantic gesture of indentured servitude. If you get into a relationship with a man, you expect him to serve you in all aspects of life while you sit there and pretend to be pretty. It's all in the words that you use. He chooses the video games over you. Well, that overdramatic mushkin better be described as he is choosing to spend some of his free time doing some stuff that he wants to do. And in relationships, sometimes you just need some alone time. And judging who he was dealing with, I'm going to guess he needed a lot of that.
Hell yeah!
Did we all just collectively give up on dating apps because I think it is such a waste of time? Like, I've never really been on dating apps, and I just got on Hinge recently, but I feel like it just goes nowhere, you know? I think my problem is, as a guy, like, if you're gonna just send me a like, I'm gonna just send you a like back, you know? If you're not gonna put in the effort to write a message or plan a date or anything, why would I think you're gonna put in effort in a relationship? So if I like it back and we're both just at the likes, who's gonna initiate the conversation? It's not gonna be me. And so all these matches are like going to waste, I feel like. And there's only so many people that you are genuinely interested in, you know? It's like, what's the point?
All right.
Hey, lady, are you alive? You don't look alive. Like, you're breathing oxygen, and I'm sure your heart is pumping, but looking at those eyes and virtually motionless facial expressions, your face is barely moved in the last minute, and I'm not even convinced you're an actual human. You are complaining that Chads aren't making the first move, and you fail to understand why. He doesn't have to. If you want him, you will be the one reaching out. You're just at that point in your life where you want Chad to validate your existence. That's never gonna happen. How can he when you barely exist? You're just an emotionless shell of a woman who refuses to accept that she's not exactly high value. Either that or you're a cyborg, and if that's the case, we're all in trouble again. Cyborgs entering the dating market is the last thing I freaking need. I got enough problems as it is, and here you are, whining about how guys aren't giving you enough attention even though you are a woman on a dating app. Attention is the only thing you'll get on those stupid things. Now, in the event that you're a cyborg, I'm kind of glad that you aren't pursuing anything further, lest you discover the irrational emotions of a modern woman, and when that day happens, we are all so screwed even worse than we are now, and I didn't even think that was possible.
That's funny because it's so true.
These are my rules for the talking stage. Bestie Boo, listen up. We cannot be doing certain things in the talking stage because that's how you get stuck in a situationship. This is where people get very confused and hurt. You're not technically dating. And I'm gonna teach you things that I wish I knew sooner. I did not have a sister growing up and I wish someone told me this. So let's get into it. You need to have rules for yourself so this person doesn't think that you're literally their girlfriend without the label. One of my rules is that I will not talk to that person past like 10 p.m. Like literally have a bedtime and a cutoff where you're not talking to them anymore. Because if they think they can reach you at all hours, what? Bye.
What?
Ethel, I have to admit, I'm kind of impressed. You figured out a way to ingest so many stimulants that your pupils have completely overtaken your eyeballs. Not that it's doing your brains any good, so let's go ahead and think about this for a second because one of us has to. Your rules are completely pointless. They're only going to be applied to simps and to men who will become members of the musty swamp known as the friend zone. You will always make exceptions for Chad, Tyrone, Raphael, Takeda, Chang, Wang, and Roscoe. You'll trick yourself into thinking that this time it'll be totally different, that this guy isn't like all of the other situationships you've had, and that it's so romantic that you're chatting about everything and nothing until 2 a.m., and that is how you know you're soulmates this time. So it's totally safe to chase a bottle of Adderall with a quintuple shot of espresso cold brew and hop into his bed faster than a coal miner in a cat house on payday. You won't be able to help yourself. Your desire to have a Disney prince in your life is stronger than your willpower to follow the arbitrary rules you set for men that you want to use for food dates. Besides, what difference does it make what time you cut off communication? Considering that your blood is like, what, 92% caffeine? It's not like you're gonna be sleeping anyways, so why are you even bothering with this rule in the first place, Ethel?
Number 2, no doing girlfriend type things without the label. You don't need to be tiring yourself out trying to impress this person and giving yourself fully to this person if you're just in the talking stage with them. Because I know this hurts to hear, but they have no loyalty to you. Like they could be talking to other people because there's no label. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, they would never do that. Trust me, you'd be surprised. Don't trust so easily. Okay, I do the same thing because I have such a big heart and I care so much that I want to trust that people would never wrong you. But at the same time, you have to be careful. Okay, you guys are not technically dating.
Oh, Ethel, we all know what you mean when you say girlfriend type things, and we all know it's not making sandwiches and offering to do this dude's laundry. Just say it. Don't pork the guy until he agrees to be your hostage. That's not gonna work either, but you should just be honest anyways. If we're talking about Tyrone, then see rule number 1. But if we're dealing with a legitimately good man, then you're talking about emotional blackmail. By actively withholding bedroom fun from a good man, you're effectively making him pay for the sins of your goop basket of perpetual misery. You're overestimating what you bring to the table, Ethel. Your chemically assisted speech of 4,000 words per minute is a testament to that. So if anything, you should be proving to him why you're so valuable instead of him having to go out of his way to make you feel safe. But if we're being reasonable here, there's nothing he can do to make that happen. It's literally an impossible task. You're so broken thanks to your participation in the time-honored sport known as Chad Chasery that you'll never be able to fully trust a guy ever again. So, rule number 2, it's also completely worthless. What else you got, Ethel?
Number 3, I have a timeline rule, and it used to be 3 months, but now it's going more towards 1 month. That is my cutoff, okay? Anything past 3 months with no label is insane to me. Because I swear, even 1 week, 2 weeks in, this person will know if they want to date you or not. So if they're not acting on it, girl, I got bad news for you. That is my advice. Please trust me so you don't get hurt and follow for more advice. Mwah. I love you, bestie boo.
Jesus, she is terrifying.
All right, whoa, Ethel, cool it a little bit, huh? Calm down. Go fix yourself a nice hot cup of meth, wrap yourself up in your favorite blanket, just chill out and listen to what you're saying for a second. Having a cutoff point is completely pointless. Once again, see rule number 1. Now, in the event that this guy is not Chad, and we'll also say for the sake of argument that he wants to take things slowly and not jump into something serious too quickly. Maybe this guy's been hurt by someone in the past, so if he doesn't profess his undying loyalty to you within 30 days, does that mean he's not serious? Of course not. You're just impatient. You know you're running out of time and you need to get a man because you've chosen so poorly with what I can only assume is a minimum of a half dozen guys, and it's left you so broken that the good men must cater to you and your unstable tendencies as you pretend to put in the work to make yourself worthy of an actual relationship. And if you're at that point where you're making these rules, then there's practically no hope for you, Ethel, thus making these arbitrary rules a complete waste of time. Time you really don't have, Ethel. The clock's ticking. I'm pretty sure you're already aware of that, though.
Remember, your biological clock is ticking.
Guys, the number one way to get a guy madly in love with you, like head over heels in love with you, healthily obsessed with you, is when you become obsessed with yourself. See, so many people, when they want to manifest a person, and myself included, trust me, I'm not exempt to this, you become obsessed with doing techniques. You're like, I'm gonna do all these techniques for them. I'm gonna like say they're obsessed with me, they love me so much, and you really try to like do things that are focused on the other person. Like they're so in love with me, they can't stop thinking about me. Here's the thing. It's important to have a good story of them. So you don't want to like not do that. I think where a lot of us fall short or what a lot of us ignored was the self-concept aspect of that. Let me tell you something. A lot of you guys asked me, what did you do that last week where he just came in? Because I told you guys I had tried to manifest him for 7 months before the week he came in. And it was like, I was always trying, I was doing techniques for him. And I finally at one point was like, you know what? No, I changed my approach and he came floodgates open. This man was head over heels in love with me, telling me this. He's like, I just couldn't stop thinking about you. I wanted you this whole time. And a lot of you guys are like, what did you do that week that you weren't doing before? This is exactly what I did. I stopped wondering and trying and just like hoping he liked me. And I started giving all that energy and attention that I was giving to him to me.
I don't think any of that's true.
Oh, okay, so you not only did nothing actually happened, and everything you're saying is a figment of your imagination. At least that's my takeaway. I personally have no idea what the hell you're saying, woman. Sounds to me like you're banging some dude for 7 weeks instead of putting in the effort to show that you're interested in him and adding on to his life in a way that doesn't involve you stinking up his bed sheets, and you're sitting around and imagining a world where he's obsessed with you for reasons that remain to be seen. You've done nothing to show this man that you appreciate him, and you're clearly not giving him any peace. And you're not giving me any signs that you're even capable of being emotionally stable. You spent 7 weeks just demanding this man become obsessed with you when all you had to do was cook him some halfway decent meals, give him a couple of back rubs, and, care for him more than you care for those annoying ass witch fingernails that you're sporting there. Seriously, woman, how could you have possibly thought that was a good idea?
Sat down and I was like, who do I want to be? And I really like started creating routines. I started thinking about what goals I wanted to have. I started falling in love with myself. And literally so quickly I was like, oh, I have all these things I want to do. Like, oh my God, I can do all this stuff. And I really just made the decision like, oh yeah, of course he likes me. Of course he's going to come in. And I just kind of like started focusing on me and living my best life. Again, giving all that energy and focus I was giving to him on my own techniques for my own self-concept, stepping into a version of me I wanted to be, practicing embodying that. And because I switched the focus to me and became obsessed with me and my goals, he also came in and became obsessed with me and focused on me and my goals. You have to understand, everyone is you pushed out. So they're mirroring you.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Wow, that one killed a few brain cells, I'm not gonna lie. Let me see if I can put this together. You're saying that if you focus on your goals and obsess over the love and confidence that you have for yourself, it will make men fall in love with you because you're loving yourself, but here's the problem. You're clearly over the age of 30. You're at the point where at least some of your goals should have been accomplished by now. But all you do is obsess over these goals, you dream about these goals, but you don't accomplish them because you're too busy thinking about accomplishing the goals. All you do is obsess over yourself. Even this whole relationship thing. Even when you were focusing on him falling in love with you, it's all about how it makes you feel and how badly you want the relationship. You're not even thinking about this guy in the slightest. And that's because you don't know what a relationship is. You've been focusing on the goal of getting one and obsessing over how a relationship is supposed to make you feel, but in the process, you forgot to figure out what they are and what you're going to need to do to make it happen. I guess you were too busy focusing on how much people love you to care about that little thing, huh?
So when you're focused on you, you're living your best life, and you're like, and this is genuine. I see a lot of people like try to fake doing this. They're like, well, I have goals, but he's still not here. And you're like still heavily thinking about that, even though you're kind of like going through the motions of being focused on your goals, but like really you're thinking about SP. When you're genuinely in love with your life and you're genuinely, you like know you're like that big, like going about your life like, yeah, like I can do whatever, like I'm feeling so confident, which is how I feel the majority of the time now.
Liar, liar, liar.
Even if I had lunch.
And I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna focus on me. Like I know I'm amazing. Like they're so in love with you. They're so in love with you because you were focused on you. So they're also focused on you. But what a lot of people do is they switch the focus from them to SP. And so SP also is like, oh, I'm switching my focus from you to also something outside of you, right? Honestly, there's something truly beautiful and magnetic about somebody who's in love with their life, somebody who enjoys it. And not to mention, you just feel so much better. It doesn't feel good to like hope somebody wants you and like try to get them. It feels good to love your life. It feels good to have a life that you enjoy and to build up goals for yourself and to go after those goals. That's the best thing. And then SP is just icing on top. It's not like, or the cherry on top, I should say. It's not like the end. It's not that he's not the cake. They're not the cake. You're the cake. You're everything. They can just add to it and be a little bit of a sprinkles or a cherry, but like you're everything else, babe. You can come in and add to your happiness, in other words, but like you're the source of the happiness. They're not the source of the happiness, okay? And you fall madly in love with yourself. They fall madly in love with you.
Are you sure?
No, woman, the relationship is the cake. It's also the venue where the cake is being stored, as well as all the people who come to celebrate you and your stupid cake. It has always been that cake. The end game has always been for you to get a relationship, to get a man to fall in love with you. If you are actually focusing on goals and achieving those goals, then sure, but what goals have you actually accomplished? You haven't mentioned a thing, and that's because you don't have a life. You have virtually nothing going for you, and most importantly, you don't have a future. You're so obsessed with the idea of external validation that every single thing in your life is focused on the absurdity of falling madly in love with somebody that you spend more time in the fantasy than you do in reality. And by doing that, you've pretty much proven that you are not only useless, you're also worthless to most men. Relationships require work, and you can't just wish that work to happen on its own. You have to get off your ass and actually do something about it, but I guess you were too busy wishing the work to work itself out so you can go back to doing what you do best in life. And what is that, you might ask? And no, I'm not ending this episode with the UHF nothing meme, because if I played that, it would imply that she had improved somewhere in life. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.